I will no longer stand by and pretend that I have hope in this president, because I don't. I'm making this video because I voted for Trump, and a lot of my followers are Trump supporters. And I fully expect that I will probably lose a lot of friends and followers because of this opinion. I just don't think we have the same Donald Trump that we had circa 2016 to 2020. This is not the same man. Somewhere along the way, he lost his way. To deny help to tornado victims. Then I heard he denied further assistance from FEMA to North Carolina. This is not the man we voted for. If you are upper middle class or below, I don't see how any of us are faring well under this president. And how long are we just gonna close our eyes to it and pretend it's not happening because it's him? And at least it wasn't the other guy.
Last week, during the meeting that Trump had with our generals, he literally told them to use US cities as training ground. Does it mean that the US military will bomb US cities like they bombed Iraq and Afghanistan? I think he's trying to create so much chaos that he will impose martial law and cancel our elections. Let's be honest here, this guy is not trying to leave the White House at the end of his term. I mean, have you seen how much gold he put into the White House? You don't put that much gold in the place that you are planning to leave. You put that much gold in the place where you want to stay forever. He is trying to become a dictator. He wants to stay in the White House forever.
I voted for him, but I didn't vote for this. I've heard that time and time again. Well, not a lot, because some people still stand on their vote and some are regretting it. And it's just crazy to me, because if there's one thing about this man is that he was honest. I understood it. He was very clear about the things that he wanted to address and attack and get rid of. There's a person in particular that I had this conversation with, and I was like, he's going to do this, he's going to do this, he's going to do this, he's going to do... They were like, you're fear-mongering. You're being so dramatic. Why are you living in, like, basically La La Land? Like, that's not going to happen. Oh, my gosh. And this was before the elections. And I was just like, he has said these things. No, he's not. No, he hasn't. So I really wonder, what was it? Like, did they show you guys different clips that I didn't see? Because he was straight up on, like, basically he don't like people of color. He doesn't like freaking immigrants. He doesn't like gay people.
Trump supporters are like cult followers. I swear to God. If Trump passes gas, if Trump farts, they will be all excited about it and claim that it smells like cologne. I think Trump cult followers, because I believe that they live in a cult, Trump followers have more hate towards people who don't share their beliefs than they have a desire to have a better life. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, if given a choice between having a better life for themselves or watching other people suffer, they would rather watch other people suffer. It doesn't matter if Trump is lying to them. They don't care. It doesn't matter if the Epstein files have not been released. It doesn't even matter if they lose their jobs. It doesn't matter if they lose their Medicare or Medicaid coverage. They just want to see other people suffer. They will gladly vote against their own interest as long as they know that their votes will inflict pain on a portion of the population they disagree with.
You ever notice how history doesn't just repeat, it adapts? Because if you listen to people in 2025 right now, you'll hear them saying, "This isn't the Trump I voted for. I didn't know it would go this far." Sound familiar? Because if you've ever picked up a book about history, it should. There were Germans who said, "This isn't what I voted for," when they fully seized power. But let's get specific so we don't miss the lesson.
This past weekend, what he did last night was 1,000,000% unacceptable. And if any other president did that, everybody would be losing their marbles. The cuts he made to programs that help lower income people, these secret dinners with people wearing masks. It's just craziness at this point, guys. And I just can no longer stand here and say I support it, because I don't. No, I'm not a Democrat. I don't trust the government at all. I just don't think we have the same Donald Trump that we had circa 2016 to 2020. This is not the same man. Somewhere along the way, he lost his way.
When somebody tells you who they are, you better believe them. I have news for her. She knew what she was voting for. She just decided not to pay attention to it. She didn't care about Trump was doing to other people until it started affecting her. She didn't care about Trump cutting food stamps, Section 8, Medicare, or Medicaid to other people. Now that she's feeling the pain of these cuts, she's complaining. There are many Trump supporters who, instead of just saying, hey, I regret my votes, are saying instead, this is not what I voted for. They should own up to what they chose. A lot of the things that Trump promised during the campaign have been lies. Let's take for example tariffs. Let's be honest here. Tariffs didn't make America richer. As a matter of fact, it made the US government richer, but it made everybody else poorer. Tariffs didn't bring jobs back to America. Farmers didn't benefit from tariffs. They are going bankrupt and need a bailout. Doge didn't save the government any money and never sent us the check that they promised. And as you know, grocery prices are still rising. And so is inflation thanks to Trump's tariffs.
He ran on ending the economic collapse of the Great Depression, restoring German pride after the humiliation of World War I, punishing the corrupt political elites of the Weimar Republic, stopping communist revolution, and uniting true Germans. A lot of people supported those goals without signing up for what came next. Some of them literally said later on, of course, we wanted jobs and stability. We didn't want war. We wanted an end to street violence, not book burnings. We voted for law and order, not camps, because they thought the radical parts were just talk. They assumed he didn't really mean it, or they just figured it wouldn't touch them. But here's the truth they didn't want to face. Hitler told them exactly what he believed. He promised to smash democracy, and he used fear and scapegoats from day one. So why did people convince themselves that it wouldn't go that far? Because they only wanted to believe the parts that benefited them. Because they hated the other just enough to look away. Because they thought they could control him. Because beating their enemies felt more important than protecting democracy. And when he took over, sure, some regretted it. Some said this isn't what I wanted as freedoms vanished. Some tried to distance themselves and some just went quiet. But by then, it was too late. He'd outlawed dissent, controlled the press, dismantled the system that could have stopped him. Now look at us. In 2025. Tell me it doesn't sound familiar. Because you've got people saying this isn't the Trump I voted for.
I thought that Trump would make America great again. Oh, by the way, he's making Argentina great again. How? He just sent them $20 billion. Yes, billions with a B. Instead of helping out and bailing out farmers in America. There is money for every country that asks for it, but there is no money for people who are struggling in America. Meanwhile, because of the government shutdown, tens of thousands of people will lose their job. He also promised to release the Epstein files, but there is always an excuse not to release them. Who knows? Maybe his name is on the list, like Elon Musk said. He can't even keep any of his campaign promises. He can't even deport enough people. Obama deported over 3 million people. And under the Obama administration, ICE agents didn't need to wear a mask. Also, they didn't treat people like animals. Now compare it to this current administration. When this current administration started, they claimed that they would only arrest illegal aliens who are the worst criminals. But now, they are also arresting US citizens who haven't committed a crime.
I just wanted the economy strong. I just wanted the border under control. I didn't want camps. But let's be real, he told you who he was. He said immigrants were an invasion. He called the press an enemy. He praised dictators, refused to concede when he lost. He pardoned the people who stormed the Capitol for him. He said he'd be a dictator on day one. It was never subtle. You just didn't want to see it. And now we have actual camps in 2025. Alligator Alcatraz, a real detention camp in the Florida Everglades. Razor wire, surrounded by swamps and predators. Thrown up in 2 weeks to terrify migrants into leaving. Bragged about like it's a victory, sold to you as security. Is cruelty as policy, fear as branding. Exactly as promised. So if you're saying this isn't what I voted for, ask yourself, which parts did you think were just for show? Which scapegoats did you decide were acceptable? Which warning signs did you ignore because you thought you'd never pay the price? Because that's how it always goes. People tell themselves that the violence is exaggerated, that the tough talk is just talk, that it's about keeping order, not taking freedom, until it's too late to stop. And by then, there's no voting it out. There's no easy way back.